Okay, let's test the sound again before I can stop pasting the link to different places. And then we can start the stream again. Okay, let's test the sound again. Okay, that seems to be working. So I will just paste the link and then we can start. So give me just a moment. And I think that is about it. Hello, hello. How are you? I'm still a bit sick. You might hear that from my sound or voice, but I'll just do what I can. I had a poll this week on my Discord about the new assets that we're going to be covering every week. But before that, let's go through the ones that were requested, so we can get those done. Let's see, what is today's date? So 19th. Yeah, okay, start with Microsoft, Amazon, and Google and Tesla. Start with those. So Microsoft, again, very bullish overall, this move. But I'm still in this kind of disbelief that this is something more of a B wave. This can be labeled bearishly like so as an ABC. With that in mind, we would hit the 1.236 almost, and also just beyond the previous all-time highs. And this would be giving us the idea that this could be a expanding flat. So overall idea, as this would be an expanded flat, we would be looking for a 5-way move here on that C wave. That has started to take shape to the downside. We can be labeling some kind of diagonal here. It definitely can be labeled otherwise as well. We have loads of overlap here, which is definitely not very good looking. Typically, you might want to be saying that we have some kind of 1-2, maybe another 1-2 here somewhere with unseen, basically, because this gap could be hiding some kind of 1-2 as well. So maybe we have some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and another 3, 4, 5. It's not really a good one. Like, let's say, I think Apple was very clear as a 5 wave here. And yeah, we can take a look at that later as well. But Microsoft, in my opinion, has still the chance of having coming down more. I would be expecting us to take something like this as a shape before we would be breaking down lower. And at this point, I'm just going to be waiting for that. Definitely not the best structure. So I feel like I might be not playing this one, but instead some indices and Apple instead. Let's take a look at Amazon. That was the next request. The only reason why I did not really like this originally was that this looked very much like a 3-wave, where this whole thing started. The extensions here, that is wrong, should be here. Hit the 1.618 here. So again, the move here, hit the 1.618. This can be seen as a 5-way move though. This first thing, sorry. My voice is still going in and out, so sorry about that. But yeah, this can still be seen as potential 5-way moves. I feel like we should have one more high if that was to be the case, So I feel like this here would be that diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like that would fit the best. And then another wave 4 here and 5th. At that point, I would be considering this whole thing to be some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here at the start. And then we could be talking about this as a start of something new. Amazon has not been as bullish as some of the other stocks where they have been already taking out the all-time highs. Yeah, that's just a fact. Amazon has not. It came back around almost to the golden pocket, not quite, but if we are going to get that one last leg up, then that might be the case. But until that happens, I'm still more towards the bearish sign. Not really easy way to label this, unfortunately. So yeah, that's that. Not going to be trading Amazon unless we get a very decent looking 5 wave to the downside, and I don't think we did. This is kind of a weird one, this first structure over here. I guess it could be labeled in some kind of diagonal, and then a 3 wave pullback. I think this hits almost the 1.618 here. Yeah, almost the 1.618, but not quite. We have a potential 3 wave here for the 4th wave, and did not come back to the wave 1 territory, so that is all fine. And we do have some kind of divergence here as well forming. So you can be labeling this in 5 waves, but again, it's not the best looking. So yeah, I would just skip it at this point. This can be labeled into zigzag. This is a bit more complex. I feel like this fits better as a flat or something with a diagonal here at the end. But that's Amazon. Let's check out Google as well. This was the previous idea for that. Was this for the? Let's see, this was for the idea that we had this whole thing as a 3-way structure, and then we were looking for a breakdown to the lowers. Yeah, but that is something that did not go right, and instead we are getting this potential 5th wave here. I think these were the diagonal labelings here were as a possibility as well. I'm not quite sure if I still like this, or well, I have to like this as some kind of 1, 2, 3. Either this is 3, 4, 5 here, or this is a 3, 4, 5 here. So the most bullish alternate would be something like this, where this whole thing would be just a 1.618 hit here. The only issue with this count again is the fact that we came up in 3 here. That's why we're looking at the possibility of having this as some kind of diagonal overall. If that is the case, I feel like this could be labeled in 3 as well, where this whole thing would be a 3, 4, and 5, where we would have topped. We have taken out the highs here though, so we can't really have a clear larger correction. Sure, we can have a structure like this, structure up this, and so on, and just correct this whole thing in 3 waves with a continuation to the downside. Not really a fan of that either at this point, because this more looks like a very sideways correction, which generally fits into the idea that we will be continuing to the upside. So Google might not be ready for that dump yet. Also, this diagonal possibility does not have overlap between 1 and 4, so that goes against it as well. The only thing is that this looks very much like a 3 wave, and this looks very much like a 3 wave based on the extensions alone. Like, these are very bearish targets, 1.236, so the whole thing could be a WXY. The question is, what is this? Is this going to be some kind of connecting wave structure altogether, connecting this into the next one? Or what is going on? So based on extensions alone, this would be more like a 3 wave. This next part is still unclear. I feel like I might want to be looking this as a potential 3-wave and looking for long setups if we take out this low here, this 115 area, for that expanded flat idea. Then Tesla. But at this point, there's nothing else I'm really interested in, unfortunately. But yeah, that's that. Tesla, pretty confident on this as an ABC. We had a breakdown that looks like to be a 3-wave though. I was expecting us to come down a bit further before I wanted to get in. I might have missed a chance because we only hit the 38.2 retracement of this move. I can see this as a 5-wave here. On smaller time frames, I feel like we had the divergence there as well. Let's see, I think maybe on 5-minute? No. Was it extended hours? I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong a bit as well. I thought I saw this as a 5-wave here, but there is definitely a chance. This is very extended if this indeed is a fifth, because that would be comparing it to this first here. So that might be explaining why we don't have really good divergence. If we just launch up in here, this would be just a flat. We retraced around the 90% retracement with this peak, and took out the low here. We would be seeking as well on the regular flats. So that happened. What this is now here, I'm not quite sure. I feel like we could be forcing some kind of diagonal in here and then looking for long setups here. Let's zoom out and check out the higher time frame picture. I'm still really not liking this, but I don't really see other ways to label it. WXY is the best one here, regardless of how these wave structures are formed. ABC, this was the clearest structure here at this point. Of course, if we want to be bullish, this would be a wave 1 of a diagonal. Then we'd be looking for wave 2, 3, 4, and 5, and get this diagonal on the way. But again, that is very much less probable than just a correction. So overall, this would be a WXY to the downside, ABC up into X, and then we'd be getting a partner leg of this magnitude or size downwards. Of course, on arithmetic scale, we would be getting to negative scale or negative. So we would be looking for some targets, at least here on a log scale. So for that to happen, we just do this, and 1-to-1 would be around $70. For this to happen though, I would really like to see some kind of pullback in 3 waves. We could be looking for a move to the upside before that continuation of at least this structure here. I don't really like the idea that this here would be this, the end of something, meaning the end of this, because I'm not really expecting this move to be extending further. Why is that? Because again, the structure that we built before, we came back to this as a support area, support and resistance area for sure, and we got that bounce from it. However, it came back to this area and actually touched this peak, which means that this whole thing can't be a wave 1, unless this whole thing is a diagonal, of course, something like this. But at this point, again, as we came down quite a lot, is more like a channel. We can take a look at that as well. It does not really get back into the lower parts of it, at least yet. But yeah, that's basically that. It still has the chance of creating this, and if we create one more high overall, I'm sure we could be labeling this into that diagonal, and that would be pretty bullish, because this would be a diagonal, and that would be considered a start of something new instead of anything else. So this would be correcting something previous to it, a start of something new, instead of this being a wave X of this whole thing. But yeah, important part is this, how this behaves. I really like this as a start of something, and yeah, if we come back to here, I have a alert here, around the 0.5 retracement. So if this indeed turns out to be not a diagonal to the upside, but instead something that is part of this sideways correction, and we sweep the lows again, get a bit lower than I want in, because I like this as the start of something. But that is Tesla. PayPal. Gap here. Previously I was expecting 2 more lows. I'm not quite sure which or where we were. We only got, I think this was one of the Thursdays, so I feel like this must have been the area where we got that one more low. Didn't all get that second low. Let's see. Yeah, I think I was looking for this as a 1 2 1 2, so maybe 3 4 5 3 4 5 is the way to look at this whole thing. Yeah, so this would be the C wave. We did get a continuation to the downside, so I'm not quite sure. Let's see, how did we label this? This looks very bearish as well. I don't know how I'm really going to be labeling this. I feel like let's go a bit higher time frame. It is higher still than this one. So it could be that we have this as a connector wave in the middle, and we'd be getting another three-way structure to the downside. That does not really fit into the idea that we are still within this B wave, but instead that we would be getting some kind of diagonal here into the end, and instead of wave A would not be done at these lows of July 2022, but instead here later on. It's still possible because we have not hit the 1.6 minute retracement of this original move, so creating this as an ABC is still possible. Kind of weird how this came down though here. Maybe this was some kind of diagonal. I think that was the idea. No, this was labeled X. I think. Yeah, I'm not really liking this whole thing. Or maybe the whole thing becomes a WX, YX, Z, where we are getting this last leg here. I kind of like the look of going one more low here, because either we have this as a ABC here. I want to have this as an ABC. Either way, Y is here, creating this as a zigzag, or creating this whole thing as a that's X here and Z here. So both are fine. Let's see on smaller time frame what do we have. Yeah, we do have those divergence here. We have a massive gap here that probably should be filled at some point. We don't have divergence here. Not on 15, maybe on 10 minute and probably lower. We do have that. Or is that only on 10 minute? Definitely not the most powerful wave 3 if this is indeed a wave 3. And if this indeed is already that retracement here, this is kind of similar to what Tesla is doing. Oops. Where we'd be looking for a 3 wave here. Kind of want it to come back to that 0.5 at least. The issue is that we have not even taken out the previous wave 4 top. So there's not really too much of a bullish momentum yet. There's no real market structure change as we have not taken out this high. But I kind of want to be seeing this, or at least tracking this, so at least at the 0.5 take another look at it for PayPal, even if you're not trading it. TSM, let's see, have I analyzed that before? No, Taiwan Semiconductor. So that is going to be a Patreon exclusive video. Prime USD. What is this? Okay, this is yet another new one that I have not watched, so I'll add it to the list. Shopify. I've watched that before. Where do I have it? Oops. Shop. There we go. So we had this channel. Idea was that we could have a breakdown towards the downside. We definitely did not, but instead we just followed this channel. And now we have come back through that channel, back tested it. This here looks like very much like a fire web here. Whether it's done or not, or needs one more low here and then retracement. There's a couple of different ways of looking at this. Either expand a flat, where this could be 3, 3, and then another 3. Let's get rid of that. Or that this would be the start of something new. This kind of looks like a 3 wave instead of 5, which is why I'm kind of hesitant to call that this would be not done. The only other way I can see a count ending here would be some kind of diagonal. That would mean that this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not the best look either. This fits very well into that diagonal mentality or idea, where we'd have this as an ABC here. See the smaller time frame is there. Yeah, not very clear fireware move. We have, however, taken out the previous wave 4 area, potential wave 4 area. Unlike we did on PayPal, where the structure was something like this, and we have not taken out that and have not shifted market structure. There's this fair value gap here at the very end. That could be targeted if the price gets back here. Three here. Maybe some kind of move to the downside. I really like the idea more that this is some kind of expanded flats. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe one more low here, as this is not really too impulsive yet. Not clear one either. The way it came down is horrible as well. Not really an easy way to label it. I think this is still some way to label it, like I say, as a WXY. Yeah, what up, Philip? I'm still a bit sick, so you probably can hear that from my voice as well. But I'm getting better now. But yeah, if this is a 3, then this could be that connector wave structure, and then we'd be getting another structure like this here. But if we are just going to be getting this kind of mess as diagonal, can't really say too much about it, because this definitely can be some kind of structure like this as well, unfortunately. You could be looking for long setup somewhere, and that area that I was looking at, this 52.65. This came down in 3, so I hope I can see that again. I would like this to become a WXY overall. Get back towards this area. think this is all around 786 here. Yeah, just short of it. Yeah, not the best, but this definitely has the idea of being 5. I like this a bit better though, and continuation to the upside. But if the indices are looking like they are, that they might be dumping soon, then that is not a good thing. Rivian, that is something new. Let's take a look at that later. XLK, that is something new as well. No, it's not. This is the one of the sector funds. That's why it sounded so familiar. Okay, how has this done? We had this potential diagonal overall. The issue with this one was that we never got a retracement really. So this could be labeled in some kind of diagonal here at the start as a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, super bullish, and then we just moon. And we kind of did moon. We got a 27% out of it. At this point, the best looking thing would probably be so I'm gonna maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Maybe this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already. Thing here is that we are so far away from the previous wave 4 already. Not really liking that too much. This kind of looks like a 5-wave move here. Huh. Then we can talk about this being a flat as well, same as for Shopify. Let's see, how's the structure from the lows? Yeah, very similar. Not really good divergence here at the top, which again reminds more of a 3-way structure where we don't have a divergence at the top. So can be a continuation to the upside, but not that best looking, or not the best looking. Yeah, I wouldn't be. This again, the same issue that we had on the previous asset, that this can be a start of an or an end of something, and this is not really particularly easy as a structure. However, we have taken out the previous wave 4, so that is somewhat bullish still. Bear divergences here though, one less good thing about it. If this indeed is still more bullish, we'd be getting this, and then one more high here, something like this. That is the bullish setup. If it is not, and we have indeed that diagonal in here as a B, and then C, where this would be some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we could be considering this as the start of something to the downside. And well, based on the previous higher time frame structures, if this indeed was a 3 and we were getting a 3 here, we have taken out all-time high, creating an expanded flat, or well, the most probable is expanded flat instead of a running flat. So again, we would be aiming here $113. Those are the two scenarios. Check out the polls. Let's go with Bitcoin next. Bitcoin has been kind of decent here lately. We got a decent move here. We got this easy 3 wave into that B wave, rode to the top, got that divergence, profits, and then we got this dump. We never got a clear 4th and 5th here. However, again, we started to come up. So again, looking for shorts. We took out the previous high, and again creating some kind of swing failure pattern. then coming down again, this looks very much like a 5. So I'm thinking this whole thing was a ABC to the downside. Again, a good short there. This one I'm not quite sure. I really like this, however, as some kind of 3 again. And I am still short from way before the big drop. And I have a short open as well. Was it here? No, it was about this being a part of a 3 wave like that. Yeah. So not here, but I think it was somewhere around here. Maybe, no, it was here. There we go. That's peak, and I'm short against the high. I have a long setup as well. It was based on this smaller time frame because this looked very impulsive as well. And the idea was that we were looking for this, and this was the long setup against the lows here. Again, loads of these 3-way moves. Every time we take out a previous high, you definitely need to be taking profit on this. But yeah, this is not really looking very impulsive anymore to the downside, unfortunately, at this point. But yeah, probably need to. A sensible thing would be that take some off here and put your stop loss back to break even, and then let it ride if it does. ETH. I've not been trading ETH at all. Kind of similar structure here. Not that easy of a trade because we never got through here. So yeah, that's not the best. 3 wave here, decent. I think this hit like 1-to-1 as well. Yeah, hit that 1-to-1 and then dump. This was again during Powell's speech, and yeah, we got that move downside. So again, these are kind of scammy wicks going on. Not really too tradable, but yeah, hit one of the targets here for sure. But yeah, Bitcoin definitely has given opportunities lately on these smaller time frames. Tesla we already took a look at. Take a look at Solana then. Solana, okay. Not really a fan of this. We had this weird impulsive structure to the upside, but we never got that 4th and 5th easily. So I'm not quite sure how I want to be labeling this whole thing. And we had this move to the downside, which I'm still not sure what it is. So maybe this is some kind of diagonal where this is a 3-way structure here that would be looking to create a connector leg for this one to the downside here. Maybe that is the case. Maybe that has already happened. The issue is that this is not really a good looking chart either, or a structure. This looks more like a 3 here, like so, than anything else. Maybe we have another leg here, and now we are creating a pardon leg, something like this to the downside. But at this point, I'm definitely not be trading a Solana. It's just not that good. It doesn't have very clear structures going on, so I'm going to be staying away from it at this point. S&P 500. Let's go through the indices as well. Come on. That is not the best, but we had this potential diagonal on all of them. Then we had a 3 wave, and then we have some kind of potential breakdown to the downside. If this indeed is a 5-way move, we are hitting that 1.618 easily. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is possible. Now, if we were to be correcting this whole thing back into potential around 3,500 or 35,000 area. And if that is the case, then we'd be getting a continuation. I don't really see this part of a previous move, anything like this. It doesn't really have a good looking thing going for it. I don't think this is anymore any good idea. I don't really like the idea that we would have this as some kind of expanding diagonal, like so. It's possible until this low is taken here, 33.8. But yeah, not really probable based on how rare the expanding diagonal is. This more likely is a 3-wave here. How does that fit into the higher time frame? I'm not quite sure. This still to me fits best as 5. So if that is still the case, we could still have this as a B, and then looking for C. The issue here is that this is already pretty similar sized as this first structure here. See, we hit the 1-to-1 exactly to the dot. So what if we have a 3 here, 3 here, and then 5 here? It's super ugly, it is, but that would mean that we could have this as the B wave, end of B wave, and then we'd be looking for that as the 5 wave. I know it's super bad looking, but and I'm not going to be trading it, but it's just an idea. We'll see how that plays. Then we'd be looking for C somewhere up in here. 36.7 or something, or even all-time highs could be a thing. I'm still liking the idea that this would be the start of something, this wave A here, if this indeed is a WXYZ sort of thing, and now we'd be getting this ABC like so, or an ABC where this is a 3-way structure here for that C wave of this A, B, and C. And yeah, it gets a bit complex, but hopefully you get the idea. So this B wave would be here and C wave in here overall later on. But yeah, that is the idea overall. I think that is more of a main idea at this point than anything else of this. ES, still liking the idea that we came down in WXYZ. Still liking the idea that this was a 3-way structure here, hit the 1-to-1 extension, did not go anywhere too much beyond. ABC here locally, and then we started to come down. This can be labeled in 3 waves though. It hits very decently as the extension targets, 1.236. We got a move up, that was in 3. However, we got a move to the downside, which seems like a 5-way move to me. Not quite too much of a fan of whatever this is. This is again the Powell speech pump and dump. Very typical of those days. We'll see how that turns out. If this indeed is a 3, and this is the 3, and this is a 5, then most likely this is the start of something new here locally, creating a structure like this, maybe, and then maybe a continuation here. Why am I not really bullish here is because again this structure here is more like to be a 3-wave, so it's not a continuation of the previous higher time frame. If it was a 5-wave, then we could be considering it to be a previous or part of the previous structures, right? Nasdaq, very similar. However, this structure came up more. It failed to reach the 1-to-1 of this move here, but again it did reach better. Very similar pump and dump scheme here going on Nasdaq during that speech. RTY did not pump that much. It more likely dumped. Go back to the previous area pre the talk, and then something else. I think we can soon to get rid of this potential diagonal idea. I don't know what this is. Whole thing is very sideways mess. Too many ideas to go through. We could just do this and it's done, and we continue to the downside with this being the start of something new, and we do this. it's kind of bad looking overall for Russell, in my opinion. Apple we already checked. Netflix. Liking this more as an ABC still. This more likely looked like a ABC like so. Maybe the diagonal should be something like this, and this 3-wave was that A, B, and then C, creating this as an ABC as well. Looking to create this as the A, B, C, at least to the downside. Locally, this again very similar to the other indices, or some to the indices. We had this pump and dumps mess going on here during the Powell's speech, so not really too concerned about that. So I would want it to come back to at least to the 0.5, so we would have better risk to reward ratio for that trade. But again, I think this is better as the start of something new rather than anything else. So whether we pump up there or not, or try to take a trade here, it's not too much of a difference. But yeah, where are we targeting is the previous low at least. So at this point, however, it's not really too good of a risk to reward ratio, but it's still there if we get to that 0.5. If not, if we were to do it here at the 382, it's just 1-to-1, so not really worth the risk. Amazon, I think we went through that, didn't we? No, we didn't. Yes, we did. Yes, we did at the start. On Nasdaq, we went through Nvidia. Nvidia finally got to that potential area for top. We were talking about this for quite some time, where we had a 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 3 4 5 3 4 5 with a potential diagonal ending here. We had a very slight overlap here, and yeah, that fits into that idea. Overall, first I was looking for this as a 3. Currently I'm not quite sure what this is. We have overlap here. The most bearish idea is that, okay, this is a 1 2 1 2, and again, as we did get another overlap here, another 1 2 potential. I'm not quite sure. Bullish idea would be that we would be going still up to the higher side. This would be a this whole thing would be a WXY, where we are still looking for this as an ABC here. But yeah, not much else at this point. Bearish idea would be super bearish though. The reason I don't really like the way this is labeled here is RSI here, how high this is, and it goes beyond the wave X. I don't really like that. Maybe this is some kind of 1 2 3 4 and 5 into these lows, and now we are just correcting that. That RSI wise, that would be fitting way better, and instead of this would be maybe, or this probably be a ABC here, either like this, or that this is start of here and then we do this, and X wave would be somewhere here. New on this trading thing, please, I want to know more. Well, there's loads of are you talking about Elliott wave? I'm not quite sure if you are, but Patreon, or my Patreon at least, has a Elliott wave basics course if you're into that. But there are free things available, of course, on the internet as well, which is some of them is decent as well. For example, the Elliott wave principle you can get from, what was the site? It was the let me see, where Robert Prakta is it Elliott Wave International? I think that is the place where you can get the book for free. At least on my Discord, I feel like I have a link to that. But yeah, that is basically the Bible of Elliott Wave. So if you're interested in reading a bit more of it, I would definitely be looking into that. But yeah, enough of that advertisement, I guess. Did we have anything else? DXY was something that was requested as well. This was the previous time I was looking at it. We had this potential 5-wave here. It is somewhat impulsive to the downside. I'm not quite sure if these local labelings are right. Let me just... we never really... Because this is such a large extension here. Goes well beyond the 2. This here is a clear 3-wave here. And if this is a 3, this is the 3, and we have a 5-wave here that ends something, this would be an ABC to the upside, targeting these highs here. And if that indeed is the end of this move, well, what are we looking for next? Well, a continuation to this one here. And if DXY dumps, oh my, then it's going to be a pump time overall in the markets. But I have to say a word of caution here. We have pumped so much here that we have not seen this kind of pumps before, really. Everything, we're getting divergences on Nvidia, loads of them here. Apple is ready to dump. Apple, let's take a look at Apple. I don't think we really talked about that yet. But this 5-wave here, I don't really see it being part of this. The extension is just so extreme. 3.236. I don't think I've seen that kind of thing really allowed anywhere. So to me, this is way better as a start of something. If we get back to the 32 or the 0.5, I'm shorting this. I'm really shorting this. I want to be seeing this kind of move here. Oh, well, this here. And short this against the high. 105. Yeah, I like the idea of taking out this previous highs here. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. The issue with this here, I'm starting to get losing my voice a bit. So is this that there is no divergence. Generally, we want to have that divergence on flats, but we don't have it here. Maybe on higher time frame? No, we still don't have it. So yeah, it's kind of scuffed. I'm not quite sure how else this can be labeled. I'm sure there's alternative waves or ways of labeling it as well. But yeah, Apple, in my book, I'd really like to look for the larger short here somewhere. 185 maybe. Maybe a bit higher in the golden pocket. Cipher pattern 110. Ooh, that would be really high. Then I don't think that would be the ideal. Yeah, it's super extended for the idea that this would be a flat. Maybe it's something else then. Maybe this is somehow something else. I don't know how though. Take a look at meta. Nothing really going on there. ARC had a dump. We never got that fifth wave of fourth and fifth wave yet. I have a alert here below these current lows, so maybe one more low here, then a correction, and then dump. Palantir. Yeah, this can be labeled as 5 as well, some kind of like this. Very similar to some of the other ones that have dumped, where, however, we have not really received a good looking retracement here. This looks yet like another dump, so maybe the whole correction is already over. RSI is thinking so, because if you're looking at this whole thing, this here has corrected everything. It has corrected everything. So we have the divergence here indicating that a potential fifth wave is done, potential 3 wave here, a dump, and now you'd be looking to short against the high. I'm really liking this Palantir at this point. I'll just add this actually to some of the alerts that I have here for Monday. Is there anything else? End phase, yeah, not touching that. Euro JPY. I think someone was requesting some kind of JPY. Let's see. Euro USD. Euro USD. Euro USD. Not really big on Elliott waves on these, but it's still possible. We had this very nice potential 5 wave here. However, it just never came through too well. I wanted it to come back down here, below here. Never did. And then created this weird 3 wave up. No divergences here either. It's creating such an impulse to the upside. Yeah, not really liking that. Is there some kind of way of labeling this stats ends account here? The issue is that we have a 3 wave here, and if these previous structures here are 5 wave, that I don't see any kind of structure unless it is a diagonal somewhere here. Diagonal would be this whole thing. I don't like that. Maybe we have this as an ABC. Sorry, A, B, and then C. Oof, horrible looking. It would be kind of bullish because we would be on this kind of path here, where this would be super bullish in the sense that we would be just correcting in a sideways fashion, but we are doing it something like this as well, on like up to the upside, and we're not really taking out previous lows. But yeah, the issue is, to me, is this 3 wave here. I already went through Bitcoin, so you can scroll back a bit. It definitely has had quite a few good trades recently. Overlap here, so I was first thinking this could be some kind of 5 wave. AUD USD. This kind of looks like some kind of 3, but I guess this can be labeled in 3 as well. This is yet impulsive looking. No real clear 1-2 though. This looks really nice, decent impulse here. Now this is impulsive looking as well. Yeah, these are kind of hard to trade, in my opinion, on Elliott wave. Never got to that 1-to-1 I was thinking, because we had this very impulsive structure here, 3 wave, and then up. Maybe we had some kind of diagonal here. or this was just a 3 wave and that was the 5th, some kind of 1 2, or maybe actually it is from here 1, no, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, so 3 4 and 5. Yeah, that looks better. So A B C, and now we'd be getting downwards. This kind of looks like 3 as well though, so not the best, not the best. Maybe this is again just an ABC and we correct downwards again to create a pattern like for this one. If that is the count here, this one, that would mean that this would be again the end of something. Very top still of this whole thing, but no real market structure break. We had a market structure break here, but again we took out these highs, so again market structure break to the upside as well, so not really too informative on either side. But yeah, I think that is pretty much every asset that I had on the list to covered. But yeah, I think I'm going to be ending the live stream here. Again, thanks for the participation, and sorry for the random time to be streaming. Maybe this worked out a bit better for some of you, but yeah, I'm still trying to stick with the idea of Thursdays, because normally I'm not really available at least on weekends, so I want to be limiting my workload towards more of the week, so that's why I'm generally using that time more for these live streams as well. But yeah, I was sick, so I had to do it now during the weekend, so, and I had the time now again, so that was completely fine. But yeah, I think that concludes this. You can scroll back throughout the video, see what was covered as well, and we'll see you back next week. Thanks for watching. See ya. Bye bye.